afternoon. It's me, the gaming geezer, Frank Fry, live and direct from Gainesville, Florida. Okay, now to get down to it. This weekend is Valentine's weekend, and in fact, Saturday is Valentine's Day, which is, of course, the time for love and romance and eating lots of chocolate. My wife and I have a special day, evening planned, and all that. I'm sure many of the rest of you do. But what I would like to talk about today is yield. Excuse me. Is romantic relationships, both in RPGs, in gaming. And there are two basically separate and distinct, although they probably have a lot of overlap, and yeah, I've seen some of that. The first one is the player characters. How many of you have played or run a campaign where two of the characters decide to fall in love, get married? I have. It worked out quite well, actually. It was hilarious and a source of much good humor. Even though in real life, the two people were just friends. Good friends, to be certain, but friends. I believe the lady already had, at that point, had a boyfriend, and the guy really did. But they, like I said, they were friends, and it worked wonderfully. And I liked that. It added a bit of dash and panache to the Victorian horror campaign that I was running at the time. And for there have been several other times, and of course that this has been people at the table. We've also had the NPCs, dependents, as they're sometimes called, and we have that. Well, yes, my character has a wife or a husband or significant other of some way or other, of some sort. So we will know that, and that can work. In fact, that can just be plain flat a lot of fun. In the sense of the word, um, you can use it as a game master. You can find it very useful, as I'm sure. In fact, that seems to be a lot of the pulp or superhero story hooks is, well, your wife slash girlfriend slash boyfriend slash whatever has been kidnapped by the evil guys. Hey, it works. I did a whole Call of Cthulhu campaign trudging around northern Greece looking for a guy's wife who had been kidnapped. They recovered her successfully. So there you go. Now comes the downside. And this is where it gets to be a problem. Something to start with the basics. The first one is hey, this is my girlfriend, can she play too? He's basically drug her along, and the reason why I use her is because in my experience, that's all I've seen. It is usually the female half of the relationship. Apparently the male half, goes somewhere else or does other things or simply not interested. The female, she's drug along. Ladies, for God's sakes, if you don't play and all of that, you may want to consider not coming along, simply telling them, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Because I've seen it happen too many times where you have her, she sits there, she's totally out of it, she has no idea what's going on. She gets bored. I've also seen it too, by the way, where the lady sits there, starts to play, and finds she really likes it. So it kind of works either way, but the idea is to pay attention. Now, what I like to do if I see somebody like that is I will make a deliberate effort to get them more involved in the play. I will reach out and I will try and get them more involved. So at least they realize that the game master was paying, and it's always a good thing. Perhaps they'll come back. I also know of people whose lady friends will simply sit there and, read or, just. I had a girlfriend like that. As she said, she had no sense of play, but she didn't see anything wrong with it. To her, you're enjoying yourself. That's fine. So she would sit there and read. It helped she was an English lit major, and just be very pleasant. And certainly no complaints. Excuse me. So that takes, that's when it gets to be problematic. But probably the worst end of the spectrum, whatever you want to call it, room in the dungeon, if you wish, call it, is when you kind of open the door and it's domestic upheaval time. It's not too bad when it's boyfriend-girlfriend breaking up, but when they're married and their marital problems, they bring their marital problems to the game table, and I've suffered through that. Two people that couldn't sit there and talk to each other for more than 3 minutes without arguing over something. They earned the nickname the Battling Bickersons. The way we used to do it when we had multi-game schooling is we tried to make sure that they were separated. Separately, they were good players and good people to have around the table, but you put them together, and it was like oil on water. Like oil and water was somebody applying a flamethrower. It got bad. It got bad. And how do you handle this? Like I said, what we did was made sure they were separated and that they knew why. And quite frankly, both of them, I think, actually liked it better that way. But anyway, they've long since, I think, moved out of state. And last I heard, they got a divorce, which was something they probably should have gotten 15 years ago. But hey, who am I to judge? But yeah, how do you handle this? This is something you have to be aware of. This is the whole idea. Hey, somebody's at the table, they're not having a good time, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's they don't care for the subject matter, etc., etc. I think that we, as game masters and hosts, need to take them aside at an appropriate moment and just, hey, you don't seem to be enjoying yourself. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything any of us can do? I did that once, and the answer I got is, that stupid bastard drug me along. I'm not really into this. Okay, that's fine. I understand that this isn't for everybody, so why, I said, well, if you like, TV's in the next room. Find some other thing. I open my house, you want to read a book somewhere? I've got comfortable chairs. It helps a lot. It helps leave a good impression that, hey, at least some of the people that are involved in this really do want to go out of their way to make me feel comfortable. Gives them a good impression. Who knows? It may attract them. May I want to come back. I had that too. After she got rid of her boyfriend, who was a decent player, but she was a really good one, and he never did, because apparently they got into it. I never want to see you again. I don't want to do this with you again. Fortunately, And thank God that was off the table. That was somewhere else so far, off the table. In conclusion, for this kind of rambling Valentine's Day rant, make it brief and simple. Yeah, there's going to be romance. Even bromance. Who knows? I don't really care. I don't care, if two guys walk up to the table and go, "Oh yeah, we're a couple." I'm like, "Okay, sit down. What do you want to play?" Same thing. I've had lesbian couples in my player group. So what? You come here to play. I come here to entertain. Let's get on it. You know. So, a happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. I hope it is an enjoyable one for you and that special someone or someone's. Hmm? Uh, Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you later. And remember, have fun, play games.